Our story last ended with Goku defeating Vegeta and Nappa, as they stood no chance. With Nappa being killed, Vegeta was shown mercy and he was allowed to flee. Now, Vegeta fled to planet Frieza 79, where he had to report to Frieza what had happened. Vegeta would explain that he's never seen a Saiyan like this before, how he's able to use these abilities. Now, this would pique Frieza's interest, as he's interested to see what the Saiyan could do. There are two roads that you could go down for either side. Either Frieza's not interested, because if Frieza hears that Vegeta was easily defeated by a Saiyan who can also fully control the Great Ape State, that could also pose a threat to him, and Frieza might leave him alone. For now, because Frieza never heard about the Dragon Balls, so why would Frieza have much of a care to go there? Or you could go down the second route, where Frieza decides that he wants to go destroy the Saiyan, and Earth has rich resources, so he decides to go. I'm going to go down option number 3, which I know is in the middle. The third route that we're going to go down is Frieza initially is not going to go after the Saiyan because of Vegeta's failure. Now, Vegeta did get stronger because of this, because of the beating that he took from Goku. Vegeta's power level is even higher than it is in the original. His power level would go up from being originally, it was 24,000 on Namek, and then he lost to Zarbon in his transformed state, and then he got another power buff, fought Raccoon, got stronger, and so on. But since he fought a much stronger version of Goku, who pushed him further than ever, and the beating was a lot worse, Vegeta's power has spiked, because Saiyans adapt to what they fight in. So Vegeta's power level, instead of being 24,000, is over 50,000, which is a big jump in power. Now, one thing to note is Vegeta would start turning on Frieza. We would definitely see Dodoria, Zarbon, Kui get killed by Vegeta. Now, Frieza would not be taking that very kindly, so he would start going after Vegeta. And Vegeta would be chased down by the Ginyu Force. Now, mind you, Vegeta, you could argue he fights the Ginyu Force first. Now, when the Ginyu Force does find him, he gets beaten. Now, you could say that Frieza wants to personally torture Vegeta for what he's done, so Frieza tells the Ginyu Force to not kill Vegeta. And you could say that Vegeta might be able to beat one of the Ginyu Force members. Definitely Guldo would have been killed. And with Vegeta's power level being much higher, he would actually be able to defeat... Now, this would mean that Jace, Berter, and Ginyu are really the only ones left, but they have to follow Frieza's orders, although they really wanted to kill Vegeta for what he did. So now, Vegeta was then brought back to planet Frieza 79. Now, Frieza is on his way, because Frieza left, going to the planet, and Frieza will be there within a few days' time. They made the dumb mistake of putting Vegeta in the healing chamber, as Frieza wasn't really, because remember, Frieza didn't really think about Zenkais at that point. And when Vegeta was fully healed, he would break out. Now, with Vegeta's power level higher than ever, in my opinion being over 150,000 because he get a big power buff, he would kill Jason Berter. Now, Ginyu would injure himself and try swapping bodies, but with Vegeta being super fast, he would be able to grab one of the soldiers and put it in front of him just in time, and then you swap the wrong body. Vegeta would then kill both of them, but he then can sense energy. He knows that he's still no match for Frieza. Even Frieza in his base form, aka his first form state, has a power level of over 530,000, and Vegeta can sense that. So Vegeta knows he has no choice but to dip out of there. So Vegeta flees. As Frieza would land and figure out what Vegeta's done, he gets back in his ship immediately and he beelines it right towards where Vegeta's going. Now, Vegeta's ship is smaller. He's in a space pod, so it is faster than Frieza's ship, which is larger in size. He's able to get there quicker. Where does Vegeta go? Well, he knows that there's only one being who can help him take down Frieza. It's his only option is Kakarot. Although Vegeta hates to admit it, his pride is injured, Vegeta has no choice. He would land on Earth where Goku and the others were there, and they would find Vegeta. Goku wonders why Vegeta is back, and Vegeta would explain that Frieza's right behind him, and he would explain who Frieza is and more. Now, Goku already knows about Frieza, because he's already touched King Kai, he knows about King Kai's memories, and Vegeta's memories too. Same with Nappa. And then Vegeta says, then you know how dangerous he is. He was going to kill me. And he says, we need to move quickly. Now, Goku can definitely fight Frieza in this scenario, but we'll touch upon that in a moment, as Frieza was only about an hour behind Vegeta. Vegeta was just able to edge about an hour ahead. So they don't have too much time. And so, Frieza was going to be arriving shortly. Now, with this, Goku would then grab Vegeta and the others, and he would use Kami's teleportation technique. Kami can teleport to places around Earth, and it is very limited. It's not like the Kai that the Supreme Kais can use. He is able to teleport to the other world, but Goku would teleport to Kami's lookout, where they would discuss what to do. Now, they wouldn't have enough time to go in the room of Spirit and Time, as it would be less than an hour. So they might have a couple of weeks of training, but that wouldn't be enough. So Goku says, well, then we'll be ready and we'll fight Frieza when he arrives. So they wait there. Frieza would then arrive shortly after, and the Z Fighters would then go after him. Now, Frieza brought a bunch of his men, which the Z Fighters would then help fight, with Piccolo and the others all teaming up. And with Goku and Vegeta there, Vegeta would also team up with Goku to battle Frieza. Now, we would see Vegeta clash with First Form Frieza first, and unfortunately, even though Frieza can hold his own pretty decently, Frieza was shocked with how strong Vegeta has become, as his scouter is shooting past 150,000 because Vegeta's evolving. It wasn't enough, and pretty much Frieza's scouter would have blown up, and he would have overwhelmed Vegeta, as Frieza would have used his full power in his first form. Now Goku would then step in. Now initially it seems like Frieza has the upper hand, as he would then transform. But there's one problem. As soon as Goku lands a single hit on Frieza and makes contact with Frieza, Goku's eyes would then glow white for a moment, as Goku now has all of Frieza's abilities. He has all of Frieza's power-ups. He has all of Frieza's potential growth, and more. He also has all of Frieza's memories and more. Now, Frieza felt something when as soon as Goku landed a punch on him, it felt odd. Now, Goku would then look at his hand, as, mind you, Goku hates taking power. That's not his character. But against someone like Frieza, he doesn't have a choice, as he was even contemplating using this ability or not. Vegeta knows what Kakarot did before, and he says, Kakarot, do that ability again. And Goku says, I don't like using it. Vegeta would explain, Kakarot, it doesn't matter. It's kill or be killed. You saw Frieza's memories. You know that he has no remorse, no care. He's a monster. You will do what you need to do to beat Frieza. And Vegeta knows that Frieza has more than one form, because Zarbon would have said so when he fought Zarbon. So he would have said that Frieza has more than one transformation. So Frieza would then go into his final form. Goku would tell Frieza, Frieza, I want to face you at your very best. I know you have multiple transformations. Go to your true form. And Frieza would honor the Saiyan in doing so, and he would go into his final form. Now, Goku's power level would instantly skyrocket, because Goku can access Frieza's power, and it's terrifying. Although it is a big strain on his body initially, his body is adapting very fast. So, with Goku using Frieza's power, on top of the fact that he can also use Kaioken if he wants to, and he can also turn into a great ape on top of that, what would happen to Frieza? Frieza would very quickly find out that Goku's even fighting like him, and it's terrifying Frieza. Goku explains that it's an ability that I have, and Frieza's never heard of anything like that before, and he's terrified. As Goku would overwhelm Frieza, as although Frieza would go full power, the two are quote-unquote evenly matched because Goku's using on Frieza's energy. Goku can just stack Kaioken on top of this, and he can just get stronger. And with Kaioken, which doesn't damage his body, it does drain his stamina though, Frieza would lose. And Goku would beat Frieza to his knees, and Frieza would beg for mercy. Now, although Goku knows that Frieza is an evil bastard, the problem is it goes against Goku's character. He will still try and give Frieza one chance. Now, out of desperation, we would then see Frieza try firing a ki blast at one of his friends. And I think when Goku's guard is dropped, Piccolo, or you can even argue Krillin, shoves Goku out of the way, just in time as he was then hit with a death beam and then nearly killed. This could make Goku so furious that he then taps into the power of Super Saiyan. Not the full power of it, but false Super Saiyan. With this power up, he would then look at his hands, as he was able to handle a grasp on the power. It's even stronger than Kaioken times 20, and he doesn't have much time to use it. With his power, Frieza would try attacking Goku, but Goku would defeat him with the full power Kamehameha, ending Frieza's life. Now, since that was over, Goku now has a new goal that he needs to work on, that power that he felt. And Vegeta saw it as well, and he was amazed and also angry that Kakarot has that power. and Vegeta wants it for himself. So Vegeta would still hang out on Earth for a period of time, but he would still get with Bulma, and Vegeta would then flee to go out into space to try and figure out this power. As for Goku, Goku would still continue what he's doing for about a year. This time he's on a planet Yardrat, so he doesn't know about instant transmission, etc. Goku would be dabbling in the potentials of the characters that he has. You see, one thing about Goku is he doesn't like being handed power. He's said this multiple times throughout his entire life. He doesn't like it. Now, one thing though, unless he has no choice. If it's an opponent that he knows he cannot beat, then he has to accept it. He did so with Beerus. He did so against other characters in movies and such. But Goku knows that he needs to get stronger. And if people like Frieza will ever show up again, he needs to be ready. And also, he has kind of like a goal to look forward to, that Super Saiyan power. So Goku decides to use Vegeta and Frieza's potential. Now, Frieza's potential is insanely busted, and I'm not going to go into a whole bunch of Frieza potential. But people like to use when Frieza unlocked his golden form within 3 months and was able to go from weaker than Namek to Super Saiyan Blue. One thing you have to note, Frieza trained for 15 years in Hell. He stated this himself, as Frieza can train. He even trained when he was back in Hell. That's how he was able to keep up with Goku and the others in the Tournament of Power, although they've grown much stronger since they last fought Frieza in his golden form. It's because Frieza was doing training in his cocoon secretly, more like mental training to get stronger. Frieza stated that when he got his new body, during the Resurrection F movie, that he couldn't utilize his full power. He needed to train and unlock the power that he was pulled within him. So yeah, Frieza trained for 15 years. That's why he was able to get so strong. So, although Frieza's potential is insanely high, it's not as high as some people state that it is. People like Gohan and Broly, those people are the dangerous ones. Broly's adaptability is the most broken in the entire show, and Akira Toriyama has stated that Broly's adaptability is practically limitless. He's also stated the same thing for Gohan, saying that Gohan's power, if he trained correctly, could be the most powerful character in the entire show, but Gohan doesn't. But that's a whole other video. So, back to Goku. But even though Goku was using Vegeta and Frieza's potential, that's absurd. So within that year's time, you would see a massive increase in power, unlike anything we've ever seen. Goku was growing quickly. He would unlock Super Saiyan. This is the scary part. Now that he has unlocked Super Saiyan, he knows everything about it. He even remembers the Saiyan who first used it, Yamoshi, as he remembers everything. Goku was also able to tap into more of the power. Now he needs to train these forms, mind you. There's still the stamina issue. He doesn't have unlimited energy. So Goku unlocks Super Saiyan, and very quickly he is able to train and unlock more of the power of Super Saiyan, and he's able to push it further. He's able to go Super Saiyan 2 during this year. Now, Super Saiyan 2 did drain energy at first, but he quickly adapted over some time of training using Frieza and Vegeta's potential. With this, he's able to then go further. He was able to secretly go Super Saiyan 3. Mind you, again, a severe stamina issue, one that he's still working on even when Trunks does show up. So Goku has unlocked these forms within a year, which is completely absurd. But Trunks would still arrive from his original future timeline. As remember, a what-if timeline from this is a complete branch off from the main original DBZ timeline and Trunks' original timeline. It wouldn't make sense for Trunks to have his own custom one just for this what-if. You could if you wanted to, but maybe that'll be a future video, you never know. But either way, I like adding original Trunks because it also enhances Trunks' timeline when he goes back. Things will actually be differently. And oh yeah, things will be very different in this one. So, we will have Goku meeting Trunks for the first time. Trunks would explain about the androids and Goku's heart virus issue. Now, one thing to note, Goku secretly does not have the heart virus because of Frieza's power within him. Frieza, as far as we know, is immune to all diseases that we've ever seen, as he's not a normal human or a Saiyan. So Goku having Frieza's power and genetics within him, Goku technically doesn't have the heart virus anymore. Now, Trunks doesn't know this, so he was still given the heart virus medicine. He explains that within 3 years the androids will arrive to destroy them, and it's the same conversation that they originally had. Goku finds out that Trunks is actually the son of Vegeta and Bulma, surprising him, and Trunks explained what the androids have done, how he's the only fighter left. And so, because originally there's no Frieza, Trunks never fights him, so he would still fight Goku. Goku would shock Trunks to the max, as Goku would showcase Super Saiyan 1, Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan 3. Now, mind you, who else would also see it? Vegeta and the others, and Vegeta is so furious. I think by this point, Vegeta just accepts that Kakarot is a freak of nature, and he is the true legendary Super Saiyan, because he's just not normal. Now, this means that Vegeta's anger towards Kakarot is not as high as it used to be, because he actually accepts earlier on that Goku's #1. I mean, look at what he just did in a year. Now, past this point, Trunks would be shocked to see this power. He would try fighting Goku, who of course doesn't even try. Trunks thinks that you're more than strong enough to fight the androids. With the heart virus medicine, you'll be okay. And Trunks says, I'll still be back though to try and help you guys wherever I need to. Trunks would then leave, going back to his timeline, feeling happy, as now they have about 3 years to train. Now, the one difference here is Vegeta would not go out into space fully by himself anymore like he did to unlock Super Saiyan. He would purposely stay and train with Goku. So, they would still have the gravity machines, as I still think is possible. Why? Because Goku used the clothing ability to increase the weight. So he would tell Bulma about it, and Bulma's father would then create the gravity machine. Although it would take more time than the original, they were able to make it. So, Goku would then train with Vegeta a lot more. And of course, Piccolo and Gohan would still train. One thing is Goku would then talk to Piccolo. He would tell Piccolo that you also need to fuse with Kami again. And Piccolo says, well, I mean, I can, but he doesn't really want to. And Goku explains, listen, I know you and Kami's memories, and I know what happened. You were originally the nameless Namekian before you split apart. You were a warrior that was powerful. And he says that, but if we need to fight these androids, who knows how strong they're going to be? And he says that you and Kami need to make amends and fuse. So he would kind of plant that seed of thought into Piccolo's mind. So Piccolo would actually fuse with Kami earlier on than the original. I would say about a year before the androids show up. So they're in 2 years in training. Vegeta does have Super Saiyan by this point, and Vegeta's able to push it to Ascended Super Saiyan, but he's still struggling to a Super Saiyan 2, although they're getting there, as Piccolo would meet up with Kami, and Piccolo still has control over the ship. Kami understands this. Now Goku would also be there as well, and Kami would explain that Goku, you can theoretically make your own set of Dragon Balls if you want. Now, would Goku accept this and actually make his own? He theoretically could, but he doesn't want to be tied to them in case something happens to him. They think that they need a guardian. Kami explains that if you don't want to have the task of making Dragon Balls, which does take over a year's time, then why don't you find a Namekian on planet Namek? Now, Goku would accept this, so Popo would explain about where Namek is, they know where it's at, etc., etc. Now, Goku also does have King Kai's memories, and he's also able to use King Kai's abilities. He would be able to locate Namek immediately. Would he be able to teleport there? Theoretically, no. You could say that, again, they could just travel there. So it only takes them less than a week. So Goku and Piccolo would then travel to New Namek, where they find Namek. Now, Namek has not been touched by Frieza or the others, so it's a peaceful planet still. They would arrive, meet the Namekians. Elder Guru has sadly been passed away by this point, so is Grand Elder Mori. Now, Dende is still there, so they pick up Dende since he can make Dragon Balls, etc., and they bring him to Earth, so that all goes the same. Now, since this is the case, with them back, they would then be prepared for the androids. So Dr. Gero and Android 19 would still make themselves known. Unfortunately for them, the downside is you have characters like Goku and Vegeta, who Vegeta would step in first, and he would absolutely dominate Android 19 and destroy him with little to no diff. Now, Goku's theoretically not being hit with the heart virus, so Goku would be able to stop Dr. Gero before anything happens. But with Bulma's help, they were able to find the lab. Now, the androids were not activated yet. Bulma decides to do her magic. What Bulma does is she takes the capsule vessels and Dr. Gero's data research before Vegeta or Trunks would destroy the entire lab. What they would then do is Bulma would then reprogram the 3 androids. She would reprogram them all, but now that she also has Dr. Gero's research, she would also find more out about Cell, and also finding the cocoon that Cell was in, and Trunks' time machine that Cell from the other timeline took. So Cell is on this planet, he is lurking around, he's sneaking. But the androids would be reprogrammed. They don't have the bombs in their chest, they also don't have the thing to kill Goku, the command. So, with that being removed, they are now a lot more peaceful. They don't want to cause no issues. Now, Cell would be causing violence around one of the cities. Now, Piccolo fusing with Kami early One thing you can note is, will Piccolo be stronger? Well, theoretically, yes, because he's training in gravity as well, with Goku and Vegeta and the others. So, Piccolo is actually no joke. Piccolo is way more powerful than the original. He's even stronger than 17 is. He's even stronger than Android 16. I would put Piccolo's power level near second form Cell. So when he does find first form Cell, Cell wouldn't be able to escape. As even if you wanted to say that he's able to use the solar flare technique and flee for his life, would that really make a difference? As Piccolo is just too powerful. Now you could say that Piccolo was able to be sneaked out by Cell, Cell somehow got away. Okay, fine. But what is he going to do against someone like Goku or Vegeta? Nothing. So Cell would have been killed in the end. Now the biggest difference here is, although the Cell saga ended much earlier, Goku does know that Gohan has a lot of untapped power, as he can sense it, and he tells Gohan that he will help him unlock more of his power, but first he needs to help Trunks before Trunks goes back to his timeline. Now remember, there's plenty more time for them to train. So we would have Goku going into the Room of Spirit and Time with Trunks, training him for over a year. In my opinion, they would stay in there for 2 years. I know that sounds insane, but 2 years is 100% possible, as no one else is using the Room of Spirit and Time currently. Now, not only would Goku get much stronger, but his main goal is to help Trunks get as strong as he possibly can. He knows that Trunks has Vegeta's blood in him. Trunks is a half Saiyan. His potential is absurd. And if he knows how to train Trunks, which he can train Trunks correctly. And not only that, also teach Trunks how to train himself correctly when he goes back to his timeline. You see, the problem is people like Gohan, future Gohan, and Trunks, they don't know how to train right. Trunks never really trained, as yes, he did some, but Piccolo also wasn't the best teacher at the time either for Gohan. He just kind of beat him up and told him to fight dinosaurs and gives him apples. It wasn't really the best training. And Gohan didn't really have a teacher past that, so that's why Gohan's potential wasn't really shown as much as it could have been, is really because he doesn't know how to train, and it's passed on to Trunks. So with Goku there, who's a martial arts master, the best teacher around, Trunks' potential can really be put to the limelight. And with that, Trunks would be pushed beyond his limits. Trunks would be absurdly strong. And with the bag of sensu beans that they have that they didn't need to use before, oh my goodness, Trunks would be absurd. Now, how strong is Trunks? Well, Trunks would easily have Super Saiyan 2. And in my opinion, within 2 years of training, Trunks would be touching the limit of Super Saiyan 3. I don't think just yet, but I think he is very, very close. But once when Trunks does step out, Super Saiyan 2 Trunks is far stronger than Cell. He is definitely in the Buu saga levels of power. I would say near Fat Buu's level, near that level, as he is absurdly strong. Now, Trunks is touching the limit and reaching the limit of Super Saiyan 3 where he can access it, but there's still the stamina issue, so he needs to work on that in his own timeline. But Goku says that you're more than strong enough now to handle any threat in your way, but Trunks knows how to train now, so he'll just continue growing stronger and stronger and stronger. And so with this being said, Trunks would then go back to his future timeline. Now, when Trunks does go back to his future timeline, the androids are a complete landslide. Trunks might not even need Super Saiyan to beat them, but even in Super Saiyan, he dominates them, and he also defeats Cell with no diff effort. Trunks will now continue training to get stronger, as for Trunks' timeline, we're going to go down it real quickly. You see, for Trunks' timeline, Trunks would be able to defeat Babidi and Deborah, saving the Supreme Kai's life. Why is this? It's because it's been over 7+ years since those events. Trunks by this point would have settled down and things are peaceful. One thing is when the Supreme Kai does find Trunks and he does train him, when Deborah and Babidi do show up with Yakon and the others, this version of Trunks has Super Saiyan 3. And we would see it when he fights Deborah. He doesn't even need it to fight Deborah, but I think Trunks would just do it just to test his own powers. As a Super Saiyan 3, he would transform into it looking cool, having his jacket, looking like the Trunks that we all love, not the one in TBS. He would absolutely dominate Deborah and Babidi, killing them both. The Supreme Kai would be alive. This means that Beerus is alive in this timeline. This would also mean that Goku Black would never go after this timeline in this universe. So Goku Black Saga wouldn't even technically happen. And even if you wanted to say, oh, well, Goku Black would still do it. Okay, fine, but Beerus is a problem. So this means that Beerus would still go down to Trunks' timeline. Beerus would still awaken. He would still have dreams of a being that could rival his power. He would go to Earth and battle Trunks. Now, Trunks doesn't have Super Saiyan God, and he explains that he's the only Saiyan left in the whole universe. And so Beerus, would he destroy Earth? I don't think so, because Trunks would prove that he's pretty powerful. Trunks, with Super Saiyan 3, he's been training all these years. He's really strong. I would say he's bare minimum. I would say he's bare minimum pushing Buuhan levels, as with Trunks' potential. And Beerus is kind of impressed, but he's not a god. But Beerus decides to spare Earth because the food is delicious, and he could see potential in Trunks. So Trunks would then go to Beerus' world, where he would train with Whis and unlock Super Saiyan God, and then Super Saiyan Blue over the course of the couple of years. With that power, he would be able to give Beerus a really good fight. Trunks is many times stronger, many times stronger, even than Goku was in the Universe 6 tournament, if not stronger because of his natural potential being pushed. Trunks would be able to give Beerus a pretty fun battle. And Trunks would also be offered the job of a destroyer. Would Trunks accept it? I don't think so at first, because Trunks isn't a destroyer. That's not his cup of tea. And Trunks would then go back to Earth, and Beerus would still visit all the time to continue fighting Trunks every now and again, but to also have the Earth food. There's one major problem, as Goku Black is not in this timeline because Beerus is alive, and even if he was, Trunks would have absolutely obliterated Goku Black the first time he would have arrived. There's no way that Goku Black would have had a chance. One other thing is Zeno would have theoretically destroyed Universe 7. If you guys remember, Zeno didn't destroy Universe 7 because of the Tournament of Power, because Universe 7's ranking was so low. So there are two routes. Universe 7 is wiped out by Zeno, but if you want a good ending for Trunks, theoretically, you could say that Trunks would be forced to become a god of destruction. Now, mind you, he doesn't really have a choice, because Zeno would destroy the universe unless Beerus finds someone who can do a better job. And Beerus says, wait, there's someone who's super powerful, he's a great warrior, he'll do perfect, and Trunks realizes that the state that he's in. So he makes the ultimate sacrifice, and he decides to become a god of destruction. As this would hurt him, as he does miss his mother, and of course he can see his mother whenever he wants, he's a god. And of course he does have feelings for Mai, even though she's like 80 years old, but that's okay. But Trunks decides to become a destroyer. It would take a long time, it would take decades for him to get strong, and once when he does, he then replaces Beerus. He becomes the new destroyer of Universe 7, and he becomes one of the best destroyers out there. He's compassionate, he's fair, and he only destroys planets that have no life on it, so they're just wastes of space, and he only destroys beings of pure evil who would only damage the universe. With his new Supreme Kai, if he does get a new one, which I would assume so, since our Supreme Kai that we know is linked to Beerus' life. So, if that is the case, vice versa, their universe rank can be much higher. Trunks would live out his life for millions of years being the best destroyer, and that's a cool ending for Trunks. If you don't want to go down that route, let's say Beerus was given a warning and he locks in, he has a better job, okay, fine. Trunks lives a great life with Mai and the others, his mother, and he's living happily on Earth. So either way, Trunks is doing great. Now back to our timeline. Since Cell was defeated, Goku was still theoretically alive, so he never goes to the other world. You could argue that he still does because he can. Goku, mind you, he can teleport because he has Kami's ability, and technically King Kai too. Goku can theoretically teleport all around the other world if he wants to. So you could say that maybe he does that for a little while, fights Pycon and etc., has a fun time, and he does learn about the fusion dance, which again, he doesn't really need it, but maybe, you never know. As during the 7 years, Goten is still born, he trains Goten, so Goten is absurdly strong. Goten having one of the best potential, even more than Gohan, which I know sounds absurd. And Gohan is also not a slouch. Gohan would have unlocked Super Saiyan and Super Saiyan 2 during the 7 years. With Goku there training him, Gohan would. Now, Gohan would still be able to get into Orange Star High School, where he does meet Videl, and they still have a romance. Now, as for the tournament, where Babidi would strike, the Supreme Kai still makes himself known, and he would ask Goku for help. Now, one thing to note is, would Buu even be brought out? Absolutely not. Why? Well, because even if you wanted to say that they made it to Babidi's ship, even if they stole Gohan's energy because you saw Videl get beat up by Spopovich and Yamu, okay, fine, but that wouldn't be enough, because Gohan, again, kind of slouched off near the end for school. And even if you wanted to say that if Vegeta was taken over by Babidi's mind control, what would he do against Goku? Nothing. And besides, Goku's alive during the 7 years. Vegeta has fought Kakarot dozens of times, but Goku's won every single time. And Vegeta accepts that Kakarot is better than him, so you could say that Babidi would try to take over Vegeta's mind, but Vegeta would not accept it, and he would reject the mind control. With this, Yakon, Pui Pui, and Dabura were then killed by Goku and Vegeta. Babidi would have no choice as he was killed. Buu wouldn't even be hatched. So Goku would not have Buu's abilities. Sorry, chat. It wouldn't make sense for Buu to be brought out. Goku and the gang is just too strong. And it was realistically Vegeta's fault why Buu was released. That's why Vegeta had to sacrifice himself. Because Vegeta was the one who personally took the Majin control. But with Goku being alive, training with Vegeta for 7 years, Vegeta would not accept it. As with this being done, what about the events of Dragon Ball Daima? Well, you can see that Dragon Ball Daima does go kind of similar with Goku and the gang being reverted back to children, with Goma finding the third eye. The one problem is Goku being so absurdly OP. Now, a fun note is you could say that Neva does unlock Goku's potential, as you could argue that, okay, fine, but realistically, Goku, even with Super Saiyan 3, is so strong that there's nothing that can match him. And personally, I would honestly see Goku unlocking Super Saiyan 4 on his own. Remember, Goku in Dragon Ball Daima said that he knew there was a level, he was just struggling to get past that wall. With Goku having potential busting power, such as Frieza, Gohan, and the others, because he's fought Gohan before, and etc., I definitely think he'd be able to break it. And maybe you could see it for the first time when he fights Goma. He tries it for the first time. He is able to turn into a Super Saiyan 4, which looks like the original from Daima, because, well, why not? Now, if you wanted to do the fun route, you can see that Goku knows about Super Saiyan 4. Now, would Elder Kai also be alive? Well, theoretically, yes, because if Gohan was brought to the Kai world, he would still break the sword. Gohan would have his potential unlocked. Elder Kai could even work with Goku, telling him that there might be a power beyond that to control your Great Ape state. So when Goku was fighting Goma in the Demon Realm, Goku would then transform into a Great Ape. Now, this would surprise Goma, as how is becoming a giant monkey going to beat him? Goku would then go further. He then transforms into a Super Saiyan, becoming a Golden Uzaru. Goku can do this because he's completely mastered the Great Ape state like he did all the way back in the Saiyan saga. Goku was not going further. He's following what Elder Kai has predicted and saying that this could work. So Goku would then control the power of the Super Saiyan within the Great Ape, condensing it. Goku would then become the Super Saiyan 4 that we should have gotten, the GT version, who looks a lot better. With GT Super Saiyan 4 Goku, black hair a-flowing, he is so powerful that Goma would be one-shot by Goku, knocking the third eye out of his head. Now, the cool thing is when Goku grabs the third eye, oh yes, he now can use it if he wants to without needing it. Goku would even see this as a third eye would then appear on his head, and he gains a humongous power increase. But he would then remove it. Goku doesn't like getting power-ups, but he can use it now if he wants to. But now carrying on into the Battle of God saga, we will be getting to that one in the next one. And that is it for this What If, you guys. Thank you all so much for watching. Be excited for part 3, the finale, because it's going to get really interesting when he fights Lord Beerus, and you'll see how strong Goku is going to be. But anyway, thank you all again for the support. I really appreciate it. You guys are the best. Let's get to 50,000 subscribers, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.